Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is my wine soap. The first part of this wine soap does not turn out right at all. So I started off with frozen wine. I mean, kind of say there that it's slushy. I'm going to speed through this because it, it messes up so bad. There's a lot going on. But the second half of this turns out really good. Turns out a whole lot better. There are some things that I wish that I had done a little bit differently, but it still turns out okay. So you can even see that the color changes dramatically with this wine. So that is frozen wine in that container. And after I get all of that lye poured into it, like it darkens. Look at that. It's so much darker. It's crazy. I didn't even worry about like zooming in and cutting out all of the extra stuff that I have going on around here because it was a lot. And I really just wanted to show you guys the first time that I made this. And this was the actual first time that I made a wine soap ever. When I do the second part, it is the same day. It's just like 20-30 minutes later, just so that I can get everything remeasured and get it ready. So I'm pouring my lye into my oils. That's my lye with my wine in it. Do you see, like, that went fast? Like, I know that it's like sped up, but it actually went really fast. And I know that you're looking like, well, you've already got it to trace. Why are you stick blending it? I'm stick blending it because I was like, watched a lot of videos, like did a lot of reading, and they all said like, well, if you end up with like lumpy soap because of the wine, you can stick blend the lumps out. Like it looked like it kind of riced, and I did. I was able to get it smooth, but it was so thick. Like I normally don't work with batter this thick. It's crazy. I did attempt to add a little bit of water and a little bit of extra oil, and this is not extra oil. This is the fragrance. But it didn't really loosen anything up, and I regretted the whole thing. It was all crazy. This is after I'd added a little bit of water to it so that I could kind of like loosen up the batter just a little bit more, just to get it a little bit thinner. But then, of course, I hit it with a stick blender again. So whatever looseness I might have gotten, I probably just, messed that all up. So I'm getting ready to pour off a little bit of the white into the bottom of a mold. And I'm going to try to create a wine glass shape in the bottom of it, just so that I can make it kind of look like poured wine, like a glass of wine, basically. I end up having to add more to this because I don't have enough at all. And I'm kind of scooping it up the sides and kind of, like I said, making that V shape or wine glass shape in the bottom of it, just so that it kind of looks like a glass of wine, basically. I am going to go with a couple of different colors with this particular batch. I'm going to go with a purplish color and a greenish color. This green is supposed to be for vines on top later on. It doesn't work out like that because I couldn't get it to pipe out of the bag. I ended up with like a whole container of just unusable stuff. I don't even know. Like, it's soap. It turned into soap. I'm sure my dad would love it because my dad always likes the little bits and bobs that they're ugly and no one would ever want to purchase them, but they're soap and they work, and my dad normally just takes them. This is me hitting it again with a stick blender, trying to like smooth it out some. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I did add some oil to it at this point, so it kind of falls away from everything. Like, it doesn't really stick to the sides of the container. It doesn't really stick to anything. I'm trying to put it into a piping bag because I wanted to pipe some little, like, not berries, grapes. This is wine. It's wine. Wanted to pipe some grapes on there along with the vines, and this is me putting the green into a separate piping bag. And again, these don't work out, but I just, was like, well, I want to show this process. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah, no, this, again, it's soap. It'll get you clean. And I was trying to get, like, there was little lumps of uncolored soap in there, so I was trying to get it all mixed in, get it all the right color, and this doesn't work out at all. I mean, it literally, like, it just falls out. Like, there's no scraping necessary. There's way too much oil, way too much. And I did save a little bit of the white to put on top of this, just so that there was some contrast when I went to do my my little berries at the end there. So that was soap, and it's so strange. So this is the little bit of white that I had to go on top. And again, it just kind of, look at how shiny it is. And I was terrified to see what I was going to get when I pulled this thing out of a mold. And it turned out really weird. You'll see the cut at the end of the entire video. You'll see both cuts of the soaps. So this was, it was fun, to say the least. And I tried to do some designs on it. Really didn't work. It didn't really want to do anything. Yeah, it just, here I am trying, trying. It doesn't work. Oh, it drove me insane. But I kind of wiped off the top and added a little bit more of the oil with the mica in it, just to kind of give it a look. Hey, back again. I know I say again, and you guys are like, but you're just here. So I just made a wine soap, and it didn't go so well. So I'm here to do it again, only this time I'm hoping it turns out better than the run I just had. I don't know what I did. But I'm fairly certain it's not going to turn out into soap. So we're going to try again. Only this time, instead of replacing all of my water with wine, I'm going to replace half of my water with wine. So here's my water, and here is my my lye. I'll scooch that over a little bit. And then once I get this incorporated, I will then add the wine to the soap once it's soaked, because, well, needs doing. Not using frozen water this time. Ice. Frozen water. Ice. Yeah. You can see the steam coming off of it because it got me. I'm using just water out of the refrigerator. I have I keep my water in the refrigerator, and I don't typically freeze it, but I normally make it a little bit further ahead of time than right before I make my soap. So it being cold isn't a big deal, but I figure, honestly, the warmer it is, the better, because this will help me to kind of get it incorporated faster, and then I don't have to really worry about it too much after that. All right, it is incorporated, and before I put it into here, I'm going to talk about what I have in here, because I did change my oils up quite a bit. Normally, I do shea butter, olive oil, and coconut oil. Hey, Penelope. Shh, shh, shh. Normally, I do shea butter, olive oil, and coconut oil, but today we have olive oil, cocoa butter, coconut oil, and castor oil. So I'm hoping to have a slightly more soft feeling bar. Not soft as in squishy, but soft as in velvety, kind of soft on the hand. Here's my wine. I'm not going to drink it, but I figured I'd pour it into a beautiful little wine glass for you guys today. And we're going to go ahead and mix this in. All of my lye bits have been incorporated. And I do like to let it sit for about a minute or so before I pour it in. And it has been sitting. Still a little bit cloudy, but I'm also using less water than I normally use. So that is why it looks a little bit more cloudy than maybe my normal does. All right. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and incorporate it, even though it's hot still. not a huge deal. I know like everybody else is like, oh, you can be within 5 degrees or 10 degrees or whatever. Really doesn't matter because now it's together and now it's all the same temperature. The only thing I don't do is I don't go a lot colder with my lye solution because that might cause me to have false trace, and I don't want false trace. And I really just want to bring this just to an emulsification. So I am going to hit it with a stick blender for a couple of pulses, just until it's fully incorporated, and then we'll add the wine. All right, so I'm going to keep stirring it just to make sure that everything is very well incorporated. I'm going to back my camera up just a little bit. All right. The wine is quite cold because I pulled it out of the fridge. Really hoping it doesn't do anything too weird. Also, I did change the scent. The first time I did this, I went with a grapefruit and lemon because that's kind of what was recommended or requested, sort of. But Beans Creek Winery, who I got the wine from and I'm making the soap for, they have just come out with a lemonade type, what are they calling it? A wine tail. So it's kind of like a cocktail, but it's, I'm excited to try one. I haven't tried one yet. They only really are just coming out with them. So I am making this strawberry lemonade. Kind of like a, you know, an homage to them. It smells amazing. So I'm really hoping that this doesn't like speed up any kind of trace or anything because this looks good. I've got just a nice, thin, very light trace on that right now. Actually, what I want to do before I add my fragrance... Nope, I don't. I'm going to add it. We're going to do it. We're going to just hope. So far, so good on this second batch here. You know what I did not grab? I didn't grab my mold. I'll be right back. All right. Grabbing lots of stuff. Oh, it's got very thick. I left it for a moment. It got very thick. So before it gets too much thicker, I am going to go ahead and pour. I'll just go ahead and pour it into my mold.
Mom, I'm just pretending.
Okay, can you pretend quieter? All right, so that portion's gonna be uncolored. I'm going to have another small portion that will remain uncolored.
2, 1.
Just for the very top. The rest of this is going to be hopefully a slightly more reddish, less pink looking color. It kind of resembles more wine than anything else. Although I did use a white wine, so but I think when most people, at least when I think of wine, I think of red wine. This color turned out a lot better than the first color did. I'm not going to hit it with a stick blender again, though. I'll make sure it gets pretty well mixed up. I initially wanted to do like something that looked like grapes and vines and whatnot on top, but I'm not going to do that now. There will be a touch of green, and then the rest of it will be this color, and it'll be kind of swirled together with this color that'll be on top. And I'm hoping that this is, oh yes, very much so set up. Good. So I made this little scraper tool here. Try to keep that moving. Keep that a little more fluid. My little scraper tool that I just covered piece of cardboard in. Well, first let's move it up onto the walls a little bit. Just gonna hollow out my middle. Because I kind of want it to look like it's been poured into a glass. Doesn't have to be perfect, but all right.
Mommy,
Muddy.
my shark.
So I don't think my tool is quite wide enough, which is fine. I can make it look better by just pulling it up the sides. All right.
Have to eat one.
And I'm just gonna keep that moving. All right, so this, oh my gosh, got so quick. All right, so I'm gonna try to pour this into here.
Persons are not.
Penelope.
Food is
Now we're gonna put this on top, just so that we have a little bit of a contrast. Maybe, no, we're gonna stick with it here.
Mommy, don't you want this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do too. But it's a little bit scary. I'm not scared of it though. Just a little bit.
There's pink in there somehow. Off the table.
I'm not on the table.
Did it again, a little bit there. All right, this doesn't have to be so smooth, because I am gonna add some pink to it, but I want them to be very more contrasting.
Oh. 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 Hello. Hello, Mom.
Hello, baby.
I love you. I love you.
I love you too.
Mom,
What?
can I have another of these?
Another of what?
Of these?
No. All right, a little bit of a drizzle. It's supposed to be for my vines. It's still, whew, still kind of went fast. But I think this time around it was a whole lot better. So we're gonna pop this in the oven and we'll see it tomorrow. And now we're gonna cut this bar. So this is the second soap that I just made. And it set in the oven, it did its thing, and now it's out. It turned out great. It smells good. The inside looks good. Next time I'm gonna have a scraper tool that's cut more evenly, and I plan to have like a stem kind of coming out of the bottom. Gonna add some mica line so that it kind of looks like it's sitting in a glass. But it turned out beautifully. Like this bar, perfect, love it. And I'm just showing you the ends and why I cut those off, because you can't really see the pattern because they're on the edge and it kind of messes up how it looks. But this is the first soap that I made, and it looks fine, it cuts fine, the soap turned out to be soap, but it was oily. It's all over my hands, it's everywhere. I gotta wipe down my cutter. It's all over my hands, it's very oily, and I'm gonna show you all the oil here in a little bit on one of the bars. It's so shiny, and all that oil, when I took it out, I was kind of worried that it wasn't going to be set up. I was worried it wasn't going to be a good bar, that it was going to crumble as soon as I cut it, but it didn't. It stayed together, and I'm so surprised by this. But you'll see when I cut it, it's a very similar shape to the other one, but I didn't have the tool when I did this one, so it's more rounded. It's not as, glass shaped. I'm gonna do it again, like I said, and it'll look a little bit better. But you can even see the white spots in it where it didn't get mixed in together very well. It's not horrible, like it's still soap, it'll get you clean, it'll do its thing, but this particular bar just didn't have the look that I was going for. And I'm getting ready to show y'all the oil on these things. I mean, they were kind of slippery even like when I was picking them up. Look at this. Look at that. It's so oily. It's definitely an oily bar. I'm hoping that most of this oil dries off. As of right now, a lot of it has dried off. It's become a pretty decent hard bar, and I think all in all, it's gonna be fine. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys all like, comment, share, and subscribe. See y'all later.